I don't think we need to present the game in any way, since you all read the manual in some way or another. But I'm glad you could join us, and I feel that it would be better to start with a brief presentation of your stalkers. And I feel that using your stock image, your image that you chose for your stalker, and just adding a kind of brief description will suffice. We don't need to know the disciplines and the servitors,
Right.
just the nuts and bolts, but I just need the idea who you are and why are you hunting. Ron, why don't you start and present your stalker?
Okay, sure. Well, let's see. The name of the stalker is Hazard because that is all you can read on the little labels on his suit. That's all that's left of all the ragged pieces is just the word Hazard, and the idea is that he is from the middle of the 20th century, and that he saw the nuclear bombs destroy everything in 1960, and that he helped Stalkers because they sealed off the nuclear holocaust into a Shadowlands. But it's kind of scary because you don't know if they sealed off the real world and the rest ever since has just been repair, or if they repaired the real world. We don't know.
Yeah.
So his domain actually is in or near those Shadowlands, and he goes and he explores in them and finds all the mementos of the dead. So he's got all of these little personal items from the victims of the nuclear blast that destroyed everything. And those are his keys of humanity. So now he is just this biohazard suit, and God knows what is really in there now. All mutated and everything, and those tentacles and things like that they might be organic things, parts of him that come out of the suit, but they have mechanical grabbers, so anyway, we are not going to go into all the mechanical details, but I think you should know that some of his keys include desperation, remembrance, the principle of memory,
the principle,
yeah, and a few other things, but there are some negative ones in there for sure. Okay, so that is Hazard.
Yeah. Noah?
So my stalker calls herself Lilith the Bedlam, and she's kind of like a forgotten Bronte sister or something. She was institutionalized early in her life, and for trying to seek out evidence of the unseen. And ironically enough, the asylum that she was sent to was actually the lair of an unbidden. And so when the stalkers arrived and rescued her, she was kind of raised to the station, and visually she wears these black shadowy widow's weeds, and if you see her in shadow, she's actually this kind of shadowy figure without much definition, this pool of shadow, but she always has these yellow opera gloves on that just kind of float there, right? And are the most visually striking part of her. And so that's her.
And how about the keys of humanity? How she wears them?
So she has, I just made 3 of them. I kind of took the suggestion in the book and left 2 open. So she has the key of vengeance, which is the melted key from the asylum, which she still carries, and then the key of curiosity, which is a key to a library in her childhood.
Wow. Oh, nice. And I feel that you can feel during the game the other three memories, the other three keys. I don't if you didn't realize. Of course, one of the keys for all of you is compassion,
Yes.
which is the thing that make you, in a sense, a stalker, because you're still capable of feeling something for the humans. And but of course, if you need some more time for the other two keys, just take your time. And Alessio?
Okay, my stalker is called the Grey Witch. She was an heretic during the 13th century. She was a Cathar in the south of France, and you can imagine what happened to a well-educated woman. On top of that, also an heretic in 13th century Europe. She has been burned by Catholic Inquisition. While she was being burned, she discovered basically through their suffering that one of the inquisitors was one of the unbidden. While she was burning on the pyre, one of the primal powers offered her a pact to become a stalker. She gladly accepted. If you like, I can explain you briefly the 5 keys, if you like.
Sure.
Okay, so
maybe one or two of them if you don't want to do all of them.
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I have a clear idea of the physical representation of the keys, but I haven't decided where yet all the details. So let me say that is a necklace that is quite weird because she has small wooden statues as necklaces. And one of them for sure is compassion, as you said. The other one, for instance, I was imagining something like related to suffering. And these are my rough ideas. So the necklace with all these small wooden statues or something like 2-3 centimeters each. So it's kind of odd, this sort of jewelry. And as I said, compassion, suffering, I haven't decided yet the details of the other 3, but all of them related all these memories from the Middle Ages and suffering on the pyre and related also to Christianity.
Maybe some kind of faith.
Yeah, exactly. Perhaps
Or a
faith.
memory for her prior life, something that she holds very dear, like a friend, a lover.
No, I was imagining more like an experience, something like praying all together in this church before the knights of the Inquisition broke through and killed them all and captured the others. And the other one could be an excellent idea on fate. She died on a pyre for her fate, so fate could be one of the virtues, perhaps. Yeah. I like the idea.
These are typically compelling and terrifying, all of them. So let's do this. I'm really ready for this.
Okay. So as you know, you spend most of your time in your domain dreaming or exploring or something like in your ideal space, and you're called as a circle in times of great need. You can feel this call as a kind of cry, a request for help, and you know instinctively that the person that is calling you is not really aware of what she's doing. It's a cry that has been heard by the primal powers, and somehow it reached you. So you have been summoned by the navigator, these gargantuan vermin, eyes like black marbles, and this kind of gigantic mouth like a shark. And you have been swallowed, and you fell for a long time, a time beyond counting, before ending up into some kind of barrier. It's something that is quite instinctive. A moment before, you're just falling into this kind of tunnel without space and time. A moment later, you end up in this pitch black space, and you can see anything except that from the shadows of the projected by this dim light that you can really identify. You can see tons, and I see tons of dolls. These dolls are mutilated or burned or deeply scarred, and there are of many different manufacturers and many different size. Some of them are gargantuan, some of them are very small. But the things that is equal for all of them is that their eyes are wide open and are twitching. They're just moving like crazy, going back and forth. And the moment you arrive, all the eyes just open wide and just look at you. From the shadows emerges a figure, a woman. She has a veil, so you can see her, but you see that she's kind of this, this uniform, like she's a nurse of some kind, and you instinctively know that she is a guardian, and she is guarding the space between the realm of essence and the realm of flesh, the dream. And you know that you must prove to yourself that you have to yourself and to her that you have the authority as a stalker to pass through. So, what do you do?
Okay, so I look at her and say, what is going on this time?
She speaks very softly to all of you, and she says, "Little children, this is not a place to play. Come back."
Oh,
Right.
perhaps you have understood.
Okay, Ron?
Yes, I will hold up a little keychain, like a child, like a bracelet, that has the name of the child and names of the friend and little beads and things like that they make in school. And I will hold that up, and I will say, she will never walk in the flesh. Only I remember her.
Ooh.
We are the circle. We are the circle who will ensure that these children will live.
She kind of laughs softly, and she replies, "You speak like a soldier. You wear an uniform like a soldier. But a boy wearing a uniform is just a boy. You're not allowed to play here. Go back now."
Yeah. Yeah. I take my necklace to show my 5 keys. You see, maybe you haven't understood that I am the schoolmaster here, the lady who will take care of children like you. And there are many children that are going to suffer if you want to let us. Sooner or later, the suffering will break the dream. Are you willing to risk this?
She's obviously touched in some way, by this argument, but she replies, "I was unable to protect him. Are you?
Yeah.
Are you capable? Are you strong enough to pass through? Show me. These trinkets, these mementos do not mean nothing to me."
Not
Lilith?
even a memento. Please,
Lilith?
no, perhaps.
I think, let's see. Lilith has the savage discipline.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you?
And so
Do you?
she holds up her key of vengeance, which is, this small metal key but melted and warped, and says, we are no children, and we carry the evidence of at least one mad god that we've brought down. And then I guess she will kind of demonstrate this savage discipline, right? And so her yellow gloves, become monstrous and clawed, as as though there's some horrible beast under them and not human hands, and they will, swipe through the air like, for these huge kind of arcs, slicing the air. And she says, we have work to do. Let us go.
She looks at you and she says, "I hope you know what you're doing, child." And she moves this finger, and this kind of wave of dolls just opens like a split sea, allowing you to pass.